He said, consider it. Every person you have ever met, every person you will pass in the street today is going to die. Living long enough, each of us will suffer the loss of friends and family. All are going to lose everything they love in this world. Why would one want to be anything but kind in the meantime? The other thing is, how many of you have had a personal near-death experience? It's a weird thing, isn't it? Because all of a sudden, particularly when you're young, you see this huge life spanning out in front of you. When you have a near-death experience, it's like being a little kid holding a balloon and the balloon gets away from you. And it's going and there's nothing you can do about it and it's over. So being kind is everything, and it's the essence of a civil society and is the essence of capitalism. And that's what I advocate. Kindness, capitalism, free trade, free humans is what will make medicine great again. In the meantime, stay out of the belly of the beast. I thank you for your attention. I will answer questions on any topic, whether it be medicine, exercise, diet, or anything you want to talk about. I appreciate your attention. Questions? Yes, sir.
I just wanted to comment that I was in Walmart the other day, and it really has become a caricature of insanity. I mean, you walk in and there's your aisle of donuts, and then your aisle of heartburn medication, and then your aisle of blood pressure reducing medication, and it's just it's not cartoonish anymore. It's actually reality. I was wondering what you thought of that and if you've seen it.
Well, you go where the money is, and when you distort market forces, that's what you get. And these all feed on each other in a very pathological way. And, Walmart is kind of the ER without the acute illness. And you look at these people, it's like, how do you get that way? What would you have to do to become that debased and diseased? And my answer is always, nothing. All you have to do is nothing. Entropy, to be battled, requires the input of energy on your part on a day-by-day basis. That is the essence of life, is fighting entropy. The moment you're born, you're dying. And the only way you stop dying is by fighting entropy, and that requires the input of energy. You want to turn into that? All you got to do is nothing. Yes, sir. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Let the guy with the microphone pick.
Thank you for that talk. I thought it was very informative.
Appreciate it.
Now, given the context of this conference, could you speak about maybe a 14th rule of how to protect yourselves in sexual relations as well?
Can you be more specific? What do you mean in terms of? Yeah.
I mean, anything as far as if we're just, I'm not even talking about, scientifically speaking, if you say you might get AIDS, people naturally jump to the other side and think, oh, I will never get AIDS, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
So, could you just speak on, let's say, maybe numerically, how likely you are or what sexual acts you should probably avoid unless you're trying to have fun?
Well, here's the real deal. First is you got to check your own motivations. I always tell people the best way to find the woman of your dreams is to pursue your values. Okay? Not going out to a club, not hanging out in the grocery store and, shopping in the cucumber aisle or whatever. But to actually pursue your highest values in terms of work and what you want. Go after what you want selfishly. And there's where you'll find your soulmate. There's where you'll find someone that you can do anything sexually with to express your true value about yourself and about them without running the risk of disease. Now, if you want to get laid, wear a condom. Okay? And really, in terms of any sexual activity, they're all of significant risk because you're going to exchange bodily fluids, and your biggest risk is not HIV. And the vast majority of people that have HIV don't get AIDS now. because of the retroviral therapies that we're using. People live productive, lifelong lives with HIV. Your biggest risk is hepatitis C, which most people are carriers of and aren't even aware of. So if you're going to do it that way, use a condom. And use a condom for everything. Be it. But short of that, go after your life. Don't wait. Okay, the best advice I ever got was from a woman on her 100th birthday party, and we said, speech, give us some words of wisdom. She said, I got 3 words for you. Do it now.
Amen.
Okay? So go after your life's values, and without even seeking it out, your highest value in a female that you can do anything you want sexually with will appear. That's my advice. Yes?
Can you speak to someone who's self-employed, healthy, young? What are their insurance options and what would you recommend?
Currently, my best recommendation for you is to buy a catastrophic-only policy with a very high deductible. You can fund that through a HSA or a health care savings account. I don't even bother with that. I just set aside $5,000 and say, okay, if I have to meet that deductible. So I buy an insurance policy that has a huge deductible, $5,000, $10,000, whatever, and the moment you've paid that deductible, it kicks in for 100%. That's what I would do in the meantime. How that's going to pan out as a possibility for you in 2014, I'm not certain. The other thing people don't understand about Obamacare is they think, oh, all these changes don't take place until 2014. Please, we've anticipated this coming forever. You think you just flip a switch and all of a sudden we're in Obamacare? The infrastructure, the computing, everything required to comply with this hugely intricate law. You can go on the hhs.org website and pull up the actual law and see the thousands upon thousands of pages. I mean, it takes huge computing infrastructure to be able to deal with that and to comply with that. We're already practicing under Obamacare since 2010. The moment that was signed into law, the race was on. We've been doing it. We're already there. So, but what happens once the enforcement component of that comes may determine whether you're able to do that or not. Yes, sir.
I really enjoyed your talk today. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
And I wanted to actually ask you about the healthcare systems in some other countries like Australia or even the Scandinavian countries like Norway and Sweden. Those countries are not bankrupt and their healthcare systems seems to be doing pretty well. And it does take care of the whole population for almost free. So I wanted to ask you why our country or why the United States, how did our system get so screwed up? And
well, I just kind of detailed for you, but
And
let me address your question. The first thing is that it's almost free. It's not. Nothing's free. In the countries where socialized medical care appears to be working, smaller European countries, Singapore, you got to take into account that these are small countries with a homogeneous population. Okay? And they're small countries with a homogeneous population that have significant capital either because of their natural resources or their inherent productivity. But without exception, every single socialized medical care system, even the ones that appear to be successful and that people are happy with, are deficit funded. Okay? And the problem with deficit funding is that accelerates over time. So eventually, even in the countries with small homogeneous populations where it stands a chance of working, it eventually falls apart. They're just in the earlier stages of it and they got more time to bide their time. Canada's often held up as what we should be aiming for. Okay? They have completely outlawed any outside their system care. Okay? And I invite you to just get on your computer and put in wcwl.org, westerncanadawaitinglist.org, and you will see all the mandates and you will see all the different wait times for particular health conditions. When I was in the Air Force in Ohio, I moonlit. And in the ERs there, every time I moonlit, I would have someone from Canada come in that was awaiting cardiac bypass having unstable angina that would come across the border and then just show up at an ER because, well, we have Intala. Because they probably were not going to survive until the waiting list was over. So you think, oh, so there's, a 4 to 12 week wait for a hip fracture. Sometimes it's 18 weeks. Yeah, no big deal. We can kind of take care of grandma until, the quota's met and she can have her surgery. Well, guess what? In that period of time, she develops an open fracture, sends out huge inflammatory mediators, which signals for thrombosis. We got to put a clot on top of this broken bone to keep from hemorrhaging through the bone marrow. So all these inflammatory mediators for blood clots go out. Guess what? Grandma gets a deep venous thrombosis, and while she's waiting for her hip surgery, pops a pulmonary embolism big enough to block her pulmonary artery, cardiac arrest, grandma's dead. These are the unseen consequences. That never gets counted in the statistics. No one ever blames the healthcare system. Grandma just died. The guy had an MI and died while he was waiting for his bypass. No one blames the wait on the death, but it happens, and it's happening every day. So, but if you're in a small enough population, in a homogeneous enough, tight enough, constrained area, you can hide those invisible consequences even more easily. So even in places where it seems to work, you don't want any part of it, even if it appears or feels free. We're done? Okay. Guys, thank you.